All right, so welcome everybody to the Poetry Den, where words once written on a page are now performed on stage, and solidarity extends between poets and friends. Thank you all for being here, for my poets that have joined me today, for those out there in TV or computer land. We welcome you. Thank you for being here this evening. We are almost at the end of May. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And hopefully soon we will be able to be in person. We're hoping that will happen really soon. But for now, we are still social distancing. And but we are here at this. I am here at the Civil Rights Heritage Center, and we are continuing to do the Poetry Den, but have it virtual. So a lot of work has went into this. We're thankful to the Civil Rights Heritage Center and to George for coming out once every Sunday to help and assist with all the equipment. He's become quite the techie person. So let's give it up at home, some snaps, claps for that. My name is Pam Blair. I'm the host and founder of the Poetry Den. June will be our 9th anniversary in the city. So 9 years in the making, and we still here. I think we've been here at least 5 years. We've been here at the center for 5 years, and they've been very gracious to us and helpful and just very supportive to the Poetry Den. So we're grateful for all that they have done for us and allowing us, IUSB, for being here. How this kind of works is we do have an open mic, and then we have a fantastic featured poet towards the end. But for any of you out there that are looking to join us tonight, if in the chat, if you want to read, just let us know. Georgia, let me know, and we'll definitely have you share some of your work. Today with me, I have 3 people that have joined me, so I look forward to them reading some poetry. But yeah, if you're out there, let us know. We want to hear from you. This is for us, and I know you guys want to hear more than just my sound. So basically, what we do is usually it's somewhere around 5-8 minutes for the open mic, and then if you have time, we rotate, and then again at the end you're in for a definite treat with our featured poet. So what I like to do is I like to start off with some poetry just to get us started, and then we will go into our open mic. If you know anybody that's interested, text them and tell them that we're live now. Come on and join us. I'm gonna do a piece. I'm gonna just do a quick piece from the heart, which happens to be one of my favorite. It's called Life and Its Complexity. Life and Its Complexity. A blind man's canvas does not stereotype in color. It absorbs each tone with a brushstroke, one after another, until it creates unity that comes with sincerity, a place for clarity and solidarity, intertwined with grace, a different perspective of reality and race. And this race is so fast-paced. Dreams have been shuffled into how I get my next hustle, while money has become the new international version of the gospel. My mama always said, everything that glitters ain't gold, and Lord knows why suicide resides in those that make people laugh for a living, while depression inside creates a lynching. Life and its complexity, truth and its infidelity, justice and its immorality, Christianity and its popularity, and peace. Peace has no amount of gratuity. But then there's love, the phantom in my opera, the beauty in my beast, who sings the sound of music only dream girls seek, while raisin in the sun. I got smoke in thoughts, gunpowder on my lips, words like bullets and inject these lyrical rhymes into open minds. And anyone that might be spiritually inclined to hear me. The two most important times in life, the day you were born and the day you figured out why. At least that's what Mark Twain said, and it made real good sense in my head, so why not share? But at the end of the day, the sun will reach its hand out to the moon. Ocean's waves will dance to an orchestra's tune. Seashells will come ashore as the Sandman prepares to confess his love once more until she stays. Life's complexity. That's that piece. Feel free to snap, clap, whatever makes you happy or makes the most noise. Again, thank you all for being here. If you're out there in TV computer land and you want to join us, just write in the chat. We'll make sure that you are able to share with us tonight. I'm going to introduce my first poet in the open mic, Brooke Palmer. So y'all give it up for her.
Right. All right. Hello, everybody. It's really hard to follow up with Pam. I'd like to thank the Poetry Den and the Civil Rights Heritage Center for hosting this and continually, and George, Pam as well. I'm going to start reading a couple from my second chapbook, Shaggy Frog, and then go from there. Was my heart ever received, and did it glow? Burning weeds in a dark alley, appraising painted nouns in the size of music, out to apprehend some purpose. I distribute myself between practical usage and your full attention, a trade with no length of time, fear and worth to be played with. Hot applications to writing are ungoverned and only ever surrendered to one's own. Come near. Safeguard. May those who float on waves of pleasure look backwards without regret. The best policy chilling blasts round the heart with youth affording us consolation. Keep painting the mind so our cups stay ever filled. Our handwriting knows of sorrow, of the evening shine. So may we never drift from us. There's a couple from that. This is my first chapbook called Flyover Compiled Nothings. And I'll read a couple from that as well. What's that? I'm sorry? This is the first one? Or is it? The second one's called Shaggy Frog. It has a frog. It's not shaggy, but it has a crown. Anyway, this one's titled Midwestern Swagger. The medallion of flatlands, smoke of Turkish blend and fertilizer, elks rubbernecking traffic, bullet casings and the knots of wildflowers. Bud Light caps and golden blazoned fields convey the area code, but acres away from all the asphalt, it is quiet. A tire swing sways gently near a house that nurtured several generations, some of which developed a penchant for poetry, matured into the habit of belt lashing neurotransmitters into action, the way my great-grandparents did on my tailbone when I forgot to collect scraps for the strays, or made myself purposefully lost in the vineyard with a two-track mind. From treasures to textuality. Now, one track commemorates, the other accelerates its own quirks, like popping a bubble with Big Red over the Gutenberg Bible, igniting bottle rockets inside ramshackle sheds, or adorning wreaths adorning properties with wreaths made of twigs and the bare craniums of white heirs. This one is dedicated to my mother. Michigan City, 1999. I brought my Capri Sun with me when I walked to the bow of a sailboat. The seagulls cawed dissonantly. I watched them. White plumaged aerodynamics. I watched them, cross-legged and serene. Mother, could you feel the wind dancing across your cosmetics, or taste the fumes of blue mass splashing, elevating us into timelessness? I remember learning Miss Susie from you and thinking the East Pierhead Lighthouse was an emporium for candy canes, a landmark of return. And your returnal is no longer marked by land. It is the spirit of a poem.
Yeah, do one or two more and then,
Okay.
yeah, so I can come back.
I'll do one more. Penn Township Revelation. We are still young, vertebrae like silly putty, and it will all be used up. Pupils like tumbleweed on a stimulant, delirium with a body length. The livestock are surveying morning light. It is a sign of their continuum. They graze like paper cutouts from the juvenile section. We talk like sugar cookie dough by the spoonful, eggshells indiscreetly folded in. I heighten myself into calculated disembodiment, dreamily underwater. I want to be somebody's muddy diamond.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Brooke. Hope you all out there are listening and appreciate Brooke there to give you snaps and claps at home. Next, I think we'll have Ralph. Are you with us, Ralph? Or unmute yourself, or if not.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
Okay, it's here now.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, I'll start the video.
Okay, I guess you want me to
Uh,
go first, I take it?
yeah.
So, okay.
Can you see us?
I can see you guys just fine. Let me see if I can step into view here. Can you see me?
All right. All right,
there
yeah,
we go.
you should see. There you are, Rob.
There I am.
All right, which one do you guys want to go first? The
All right,
birds?
I'll point this towards you, Ralph.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first, and then I'll go.
Okay. All right. Well, then in that case, we'll do my portion will be
Yeah, but move over.
2
so
point, the
Constance
equivalent of
and
2.5, because this one is a period piece. It goes really fast though. So if you don't like it, it won't take that long. And if you love it, you'll blink and you might miss it. This was finally appeared in the Literary Lit Collective's anthology a couple years back after 7 years of trying. So here we go. Well, hey, it's not any different than, say, back in the 70s where you heard Jay Giles play something and it might end up on a record 3 years later.
Right.
We haven't really moved on that far from that, honestly. our development's always lagging a bit behind the execution, but that's a lot of the people behind the desk. So this is Waiting for the Bang. Marquee Club 65, alliances charted, innocence discarded, guitar rumbles ignited, crushed hot kisses stolen in cold sweat, ears ringing between sets, teen power schemes unleashed, still living and breathing for old ravers like me who never gave a damn, still waiting for the bang. Okay, this one is offered in the spirit of public service. I thought, going into this, I thought, with all of them rushing so fast to get everybody off their benefits and starve them into submission, I guess, and get them to take jobs they really don't want, I thought I'd offer a public service announcement. So, warning. If the scenario that I described, and I did experience this, the names of the guilty were omitted because, well, I don't want to be dragged into the courtroom, basically. If it looks anything like this and the phrase is in here, you say, "Excuse me, please," and you'll know it when you hear it.
All right.
Yes. Oh, so this is Boiler Room. I saw this banner headline that just cracked me up. What happens when the unemployment runs out? I got to answer that question a couple Christmases ago when I went downtown and last looked for a job. I scrambled up a never-ending set of stairs that squeaked under my feet. The anonymous classified said something about phone work, quote unquote. But I smelled the game right away when I finally stumbled inside. I was looking down the barrel of a classic boiler room, unfortunate men and women crammed together like so many bookends, middle-aged and underaged, overweight, overworked, and underpaid. Only they weren't selling coupon books or stock quotes or great round-trip rates to Mexico, but something about luxury condos in Colorado, I think. So said the 30-something sun-tanned owner, squeezing yet another penny from all these people's blood, toil, and sweat. Ever done this work before? He asked, to which I just shook my head. Well, you've got a nice voice, he assured me. I'm sure they say that to all the new arrivals, don't they? And pressed an application into my now cold and clammy hands, frozen into pools of sweat. On the wall hung a sign. Anyone calling outside of work will be fired immediately. I handed the form back and said, "Excuse me, please. I left my resume in my car. I'll be right back." The owner shrugged and went back to presiding over the boiler room that will eat your dreams alive, selling your soul one cold call at a time. But it just wasn't worth braving the shivers running down my spine, and something else hit me as I finally drove away. Mr. Newspaperman, I've got your answer. Boiler rooms are the same all over.
Very good.
All right. And now, this would be the flip side of the 45, I guess, to round things out, and then we'll hand it over to
Okay.
our other half of the dynamic duo here.
All
And I
right.
don't know, Pam, you may remember this one too, perhaps. I did this often enough back when we were doing the events here in Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a fair amount of time. So it's cool to hear you say you've lasted, what, almost 9 years?
Yeah.
June? Well, as they say in Clubland, 2 years is a long time. So what would 9 be? I
Right.
tell you, you're the cat with multiple lives in that.
Ah, that's what it feels like too.
Well, we old cats know a thing or two, though. That's what we got over everybody. So, we know more than one trick at least. So, be a 2-trick pony, right? Not a 1, 2 or
Right.
3. You live a bit longer that way. Okay, so again, since we're hearing so much at the moment about what is possible, there's only 50 votes for this, or so many votes for that, or we can only do this or only do that. it's funny when I wrote this, and this was almost a decade ago, and I heard a lot of the same questions hanging in the air. So the more things change, blah, blah, blah. But I thought we needed a call to arms to get people to think beyond that just a little bit, beyond the narrowness of the margin. Because when we talk about changing anything, it's really, strictly speaking, never about that anyway.
Okay.
So this is a revolution of the mind. Before we fritter away 1 minute further, let's squash all this rainy day double talk about my agenda. I can barely remember which bottom of the bottle gives me a thumbs up, let alone where my car keys reside in my back pocket. But if and when I ever get my hands on you and your jerry-rigged set of social controls, here is my manifesto, such as it is. Enough. Let us be done with hard labor. Who, what, when, and where the hell did it get us? Nowhere. Enough. Let us be done checking stocks and shares divided among the property classes like so many dried up rotten apples. What and where the hell did it get us? Nothing. Enough. Let us be done with drive time advice spelled out in capital letters meant to make us ashamed of our hand to mouth lowercase existence. Who, what, or what do we ever recognize of ourselves in all those glossy pages that you airbrush to perfection anyway? Nobody. Now, happy accidents like these seldom happen by magic. If God had meant for us to vote every single one of our blues away, he surely would have allowed us more than 2 names on a ballot and a none of the above option for good measure. I want more. I want something better than the evil of 2 lessers and the smoke rings blowing from the mouths of all those TV talking heads. I want more. I need something fresher than some secret handshake or some last minute favor begrudgingly extended by another fork talking 2-bit hipster. I want more. I don't wake up every afternoon without doing my part to upset the social order force-fed on me. Every time I won't go back in line. Every time I'm blindsided by another big ticket fine. Every time I blow a raspberry against the latest double-digit lie. I want more. I want something better than the evil of 2 lessers. And this time, I am being reasonable. I hereby demand the impossible, a revolution of the mind. All right, then, where do I sign?
Mm.
Figure it out.
All right, Ralph, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, baby Pete.
All right,
Lisa's up. Hey,
let me move my
Lisa.
computer a little bit here. All right, I got 2 poems to read. Let me start with one. This is about a person we knew in Lansing, Michigan years ago. And he lived kind of an alternative lifestyle where he collected cans for a living. But the poem will contain more in it. Okay. Arnie the Can Man. Arnie the Can Man, black bag over shoulders, returnable Santa Claus, riding the daily grind, sticky hands in beer cans, the bottle return, always ready for one more. Arnie the Can Man, eccentrics galore, undiagnosed borderline autistic, Asperger dreams, seeking redemption in the 10-cent deposit law. Drop out from college, cold German Austrian father, genius brothers, never measuring up. Why won't you be more like your big brother? Forget it, Dad. The 9-to-5 grind, endless boredom, being ordered about. At least on my bike, I'm free. Secret fears kept the bank accounts full while living in austere poverty. Petty green miser counting strings and rubber bands, thousands of dollars in the bank saved for the flood-ridden day. Freezing to death, too cheap to pay the electric bill. Fear, sleep, freeze. Arnie the Can Man, local bum turned into hero of the counterculture. Take all jobs and shove it mentality and still unbeaten down youth. Insurance men and accountants dying unhonored. Arnie earning newspaper reports and public memorial services. Big Brother makes his phone calls, 1977 to 2000. Get yourself together, man. Psychiatrist unable to solve the mystery that is his little brother. Rejecting modern life, he knows the hellholes of the state hospital and decides to leave his brother alone. Very alone, house alone, he's there but not there. 30 years pass, the nephew meets him once. Big bushy beard, wiry legs, chasing the solace of a city, wanderings over the love of a woman, running into the rooms of his failed education, picking up after the future suburban Republicans whose once youthful idealism had vanished. They would look upon his appearance and bicycle and all outsiders as menaces and nuisances. Arnie the Can Man had respect from two college friends who saw the workaday world as suffocating ties and stiff suits. Lauded for daring to step outside the economic box. One would grow up and write poems while driving a cab. One would write books and marry a woman more autistic than Arnie, who spoke of how the system imprisoned her body and mind. They all collect cans too. Okay, glad you like that one. This is another one. This is a little long one. I know I have two long ones today, but I guess I chose the right. Future cat ladies of the world. Have you seen the hoarding cat ladies? I could see me being one, except I don't like cats. They smell funny, and germ phobes end up cleaning the kitchen with bleach just out of disgust. How many just got tired of the boring judge of housework, where every little mark on the wall became a recrimination, where the endless details of stains, chips, and marks was a line so long without end. Her name is Margaret, Maria, Rachel, Elizabeth. Oh, it really doesn't matter. The numbers are legion. Whatever her name, no one hugs her at night as she returns home to open her can of tuna and to eat her crackers slowly until it's time to go to sleep and escape the world. She's turning 30, 48, 55, 67 this October, this April. Her parents supported her a long time or threw her out onto the mercy of the social workers. But she has yet to fall in love. She tried to follow the rules but failed. She dreamed of the prince that would come and take her away from her parents and jobs that chapped her hands and paid too little, with bosses always shaking their heads, telling her she was too slow. Told to always work on her appearance, always either too fat or thin without the right shape. Be empowered, be confident, have a good attitude, be anything but you. The years slipped through her fingers, the endless dead-end jobs, and being called a slob, and just trying to make it. The prince never called, his white steed stayed away, only his facsimiles of ones that joined the chorus of deceit, drugged out, stoned out, psyched out, just out of jail, divorced, homeless. They wanted to take more than give. Happy ever after nightmares, she was smart, knowing there are worse things than being alone. Time fading, she takes refuge in things, the pretty colors, a distraction to the faded gray of her life. Collections of cats, plastic pieces, knickknacks, pocketbooks, matchbooks, books, glasses, and nightly trash pickings reach to the ceiling. Objects never leave and objects never reject. They just are, though they bury you. What happens to future cat ladies and hoarders as their mountains of thrift items replace the dreams that have faded? What happened to the life that never materialized? You can't buy it, collect it, or find it in a dumpster. Damn that one.
Thank you, Lisa.
Always look here.
Thank you guys for being with us. All right, I hope you guys are still hanging in there. We again invite you to the open mic if you want to put in the chat. Let George know, he'll let me know. It's always good it's always exciting and wonderful when we have new people that join us here at the Poetry Den. And today we have a newcomer to the Poetry Den who is going to share some of her work with us. And her name is Donna Johnson. So those of you at home, give it up for snaps. Those of you here, welcome our newcomer. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Donna Johnson, and I'm so glad to be invited here. Today is my first time. So just bear with me. I have a couple of short things. And some of my poems, some of them are just thoughts, but just things I put into words. The first one is titled Unmuted. I have been silent for a long time, having been told since I was a child to speak when spoken to. Children are to be seen and not heard. Be quiet, no one wants to hear you. Moving from little girl to big girl, it was still the same. No one said I could speak yet. I believe life is a silent game. What do I do now? Going through the motions of life, I am screaming on the inside. Trials, life happens, and strife. Grown up now, I have something to say. Still, no one said I could speak, but I'm going to anyway. So I grabbed the remote and began to push buttons. My voice is yet too weak. Then all of a sudden, I found the right button to push. Sound began to come out. I've been silent for a long time. Now I want to shout. I've gotten a hold of the remote and I'm turning the volume up. No longer am I on mute. Pause or simply power it off. I've been silent for a long time and I have something to say. No longer shall I be muted or silenced. I will say it my way. Yeah. All right. This next one, just some thoughts, and it's yet to be titled. Some of us are born with a knee on our neck, born a statistic of a statistic, strikes against us at birth before the doctor even strikes us. Taking that first gasp of air, our journey begins. We soon learn that life isn't fair, but always hoping and praying to win. Not able to breathe freely, does anyone really see me? Or is it just the color of my skin that keeps me locked in this box I'm in? The knee is already on our neck, more tighter every day. It's a gamble just to make it to even our next birthday. This is another thought. I'm just saying, I have dreams, hopes, and wishes. I have a lot I want to say and do. It's not too late for me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I am more than you see. That is just the surface. There is much more to me. I am the righteousness of God. I am spiritual, kingdom, and royalty. I am who God says I can be. I am an asset to my children, church, and community. I am a writer, an author, and a poet. It may not seem like it now, but soon everyone will know it. I'm just saying that there is still more than even I know. God is opening doors, elevating me, and taking me higher. Life and death is in the power of our tongue, and I speak into my words. I speak life. I'm just saying. Feels like to not to want to get up in the morning, I know how it feels to not to want to face the day. I know how it feels to want to pull the covers over your head. I know how it feels to want to block out everything and everyone. I know how it feels to want to scream, yell, and shout, but hold it all in. I know how it feels to shed tears and quickly wipe them away. I know how it feels to put on a mask on your face every day. Before we were all wearing masks, I know how it feels to want to be on a plane in a room full of people. I know how it feels to mask pain, hurt, and rejection, abuse, insecurity, fear, and shame. I know how it feels to want something and someone so bad it hurts. But when you get it, then it hurts even more. I know what it feels like. All right, thank you, Miss Donna. Hope you all are enjoying what you're listening to tonight. Glad to have some new blood here at the Poetry Den. I hope you'll come back. Thank you. Make sure you thank Rosemary for, yeah. OG. Man, been missing you, dude.
I've been missing y'all too. I've been super busy, but it's been good busy. So
Okay, yeah.
working on production of my second book. Working a lot at the job, just trying to start a dog kennel. I'm just trying to start a lot of streams of income, basically.
Yeah, you hustling.
All the time. All the time. I'm gonna share about 3 pieces with y'all. How y'all doing? Thank y'all for tuning in, for those that tuned in. My first one is called Love's Pendulum. Give her the moon, she gonna want the stars. Give her the earth, she gonna fuck around and want Mars. I got big dreams. Are you gonna help me fulfill them? Or are you on the other side, just sitting back from a distance and killing? Are you on my team, or is it just one big dream? Compared to what you said, it's not what it seems. My heart is on the line. You can't blame me for asking. In my misery, you'll never be basking. I'm a special kind of guy. Come on and get with it. By the time I'm done, you're gonna swear I shit it. You can't stand the smell, but you still gonna listen. Hold up, wait a second, watch how I glisten. What do we have here? A failure to communicate? We're not relating, not able to get it straight. We seem to fall out at every twist and turn. Are we gonna call it a quits, or will we choose to learn? To be there for one another in a reciprocating fashion? Or do we go our separate ways so each other we can stop bashing? We're actually great friends, no room for pretend. But as lovers, not so much. We should fix it and get back in touch. Get back to a place we can both handle. Our love intact, no one will be able to hold a candle. That's that piece right there. The second one, I hope everybody can relate to this. If you can't, you should. I'm finna take off my glasses for this one because this is very relatable. It's called Consequences of Time. They say time is of the essence, but what does that really mean? To me, time is the essence, or at least so it seems. Whether you're chasing the dreams or living your reality, time can end up being a technicality. Another day has landed upon us without our permission. We made it again, pushing on per the mission. Time goes on, time goes on with or without us, or you can catch it all. Trust me when I tell you there's something you're missing. Can't be a party to it all, some things you're not meant to miss. Can't be a party to it all, some things you are meant to miss. Whether you know it or not, that person you were still meant to kiss. Missing out on misery to experience bliss. Late to work, you missed the accident, but you lost your job. Which one is worse, losing your income or possibly having your health robbed? If you don't know the answer, you might have a problem. Priorities not in order, conundrums, won't be able to solve them. The cliche is that time waits for no man, holds very true. It's not about how much you get, but what you do with it. Excuse me, I messed the whole line up. The cliche is that time waits for no man, holds very true. It's not how much you get, but what you do, what you choose to do. Do you prepare for the day or do you hit snooze? Are you choosing to make a way or are you prepared to lose? We all have the same 24 hours, 168 days in a week. Are you going to devise a plan or make excuses and be weak? At any rate, time is ticking, not waiting for you or I. Will you do what it takes to succeed or just enough to get by? And that's that piece right there. I got one more. I want everybody to get their due time. This one's called Discovering Myself. I've been looking for myself and I've been hard to find. I keep looking with no results. I just may lose my mind. I search high, I search low. To be totally honest, I'm running out of places to go. I can't give up. That action just isn't in me. I'm frustrated as ever, knowing what the answer can be. Or maybe I know, and I'm just too scared to admit it. They say if the shoe fits, wear it. But with the shoehorn, I just can't fit it. I refuse to accept this as all my life turned out to be. I couldn't live with myself if striving towards being the best me. Divots and potholes in the road are those, divots and potholes in the road are to be expected. Or should I just open up and be free and keep living protected? I'm my own worst critic. At the same time, I'm my best friend. With a battle like that transpiring, it's very difficult to pretend. At any rate, to myself, I'll be true through and through, explore uncharted territories is what the plan is, what to do. That's that piece right there.
All right, well, gee.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Again, thank you everybody for being here. If you have not liked the Poetry Den page, we invite you to do that so that you might keep up with us and also get additional information about other things that might be going on in the city as it's shared with me. I'd like to invite my next longtime poetry fam, Roger. Come on over, Roger. Yeah, man, been missing you too.
Thanks, Pam. It's nice to be here again,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad you have kept this going. It's really a treat. Oh, yeah. You said
Yeah, we got it.
old
Hopefully
time.
this is our last month, hopefully.
Old time is the word here. Okay, a couple poems. This one is called Phantom Pain. The phrase comes from, it's a medical term. Sometimes when a person has lost an arm or a leg, they continue to feel pain in that missing limb for a long time, and that's called phantom pain. She was gone and gone for good. Her smell hovered over the unmade bed. The sound of her laughter echoed against the walls. He could feel the way she rubbed his shoulders, the way she locked her fingers in his. She was gone and would never return. Her geraniums dried up and died. He gave away the books she left. She was gone and gone forever. After 2 years, he still rose to meet her shadow at the door. He still turned his head at the sound of her name. Okay, this one is called Life in the Espresso Lane. The waitress recited the selections like a station master ticking off the stops. Cafe au lait, cafe latte, mocha java, Colombian mountain, French roast, tip of the Andes. Coffee, the old man repeated as if he squeezed the word out of a tube of toothpaste. Bring me the coffee you would bring me if there was just one item on the menu marked coffee and I ordered it. That's the coffee I want. The waitress popped her gum. Regular or decaf? And this last one is called Nursing Home Junkyard. Wrecked remains of worn out lives, abandoned to wind and rain and years. Bodies rusted out, seats ripped, skin so thin, the nurse can map the red and blue highways beneath. Headlight eyes dim or missing, wires grope for, springs clutch at, doors askew. DeSoto, Willis, Kaiser Fraser, discontinued models with old-fashioned names, bare-bone chassis and pools of dirty oil, wheels gone, hoods open, the mechanisms of life laid bare. In this ward of unlife, bodies are pushed and pulled in parodies of function, and not 1 in 10 moves under its own power. Outside cars race by. A fence hides the place from view. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight. George, do we have anybody out there that's? All right, so what I will do is I'll read another one, and if any of you all that are here would like to share another piece, we'd love for you to do that. And then we'll move on to our featured artist tonight. This piece that I'm going to share is a new piece. I was asked to write something for Juneteenth, and I thought it would be appropriate to read it now since the next time we're together, it will be the end of June. And Juneteenth is actually June 19th. What is this freedom we celebrate, we commemorate? Made in the image of God, but only considered 3/5 of a human. A constitution in order to form a more perfect union. Our African-American lineage is as orphans, never learning about our origin, stripped from our ancestry, born into white supremacy. Imagine someone stealing something from you, then giving it back to you as a present. And instead of calling it Christmas, they called it emancipation. Taking a knee seems a little more honorable to me than putting a right hand across a heart of deceit. Juneteenth, a day of independence, largely unknown among many Americans. And sadly, our schools saw this history as insignificant. Historic lies within blurred lines. Real estate draws injustice with a red line. Sorry. When freedom comes in only one hue, I will pull out my black Sharpie and write in to be continued. So save your distractions of what about Black on Black crime? And ask yourself about anti-gun violence. Crime is not a color. Crime is literally crime. In 1865, our resilience to survive and the revolution may never be televised. Black Lives Matter. I will always frequent until freedom knows me and I know freedom. That's Juneteenth. Anybody else wanna? You guys good or?
You know, I got a lot of stuff to say.
You got a little stuff to say? All right.
Quito.
All right.
Yeah, let me see.
We're gonna bring OG back in that time.
Let me see. I gotta make up for lost time. I haven't been in a while. I'm definitely guilty of that. Let me find a couple to. Okay. I'm gonna do that one since my birthday just passed. That's one of my favorite. I'm about to-
Jeopardy on it.
You say, no, Jeopardy, no Jeopardy. I just have to pick a few real quick. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do this one first. This one called Coming or Going. Salute and shout out to all the fellow Geminis.
Okay.
I'm a Gemini, so I come divided. When answers are needed, which side will provide it? Some not so good, the others are the greatest. That's fine. Catch a whiff of my latest. Inspiration, gotta practice more self-dedication. True to myself, gotta know who I'm facing. It's me I'm referring to. Isn't that amazing? Constantly a battle with myself, a civil war of sorts. When I give myself trouble, I look to me for support. Funny thing is, no matter the outcome, I always win, whether I'm being an angel or indulging in sin. No matter the decision, I'm always right. With this battle going on, sometimes I don't sleep at night. And I'm definitely insomniac, so that's true. It's a battle for the ages. All I can do is continue to turn the pages in this book called Life, write new chapters on a daily basis, embrace the pain and the laughter. I continue to write, seems to be great therapy, but the shy person in me doesn't want the world staring at me. The outgoing part has been itching to start, getting riches and accolades. That guy would also enjoy bitches and escalades. The shy guy can't even deal with the sun in his eyes, let alone book signers, allowing the world to spy. So this is with what I am faced. Do I send a shy guy or the extrovert in this place? Or do I send a mixture of the two? Oh, please help me, self. What the fuck should I do? Nothing and everything are the answers that I receive. I go back and forth like you wouldn't believe. I guess a happy medium would be the answer. If it was that simple, I wouldn't sway back and forth like a drunken dancer. Coming and going, that's that piece. Okay. This one is called The Ultimatum. Black people getting killed without recourse is a cold reality. That's because in the Black's Laws Dictionary, there's a technicality. Black, African American, and Negro are not a nation or nationality. We are not winning because we refuse to get rid of the nigger mentality. Living in religion is nothing but a fallacy. Coming together, not in church, is definitely essential. If not, we will never realize our full potential. We need to be who we were intended and flash our credentials. Mother Nature and Mother Earth, without Father Time, what would it be worth? Take advantage of your time ever since your birth. We can definitely have heaven on earth, no minuscule living. I'm talking about girth. Let's get it right. Let's take a stand. They've been living off our backs. Come on, man. I'll fuel the fire, I'll fuel the fire, y'all can be the fans. I'm a nobody with something to say. And all of you ostriches, and all of y'all ostriches heads in the sand ass niggas, get the fuck out the way. That's that piece right there. I got one more and I'm gonna get out the way and let the feature do their thing. Okay. This one called Giving Thanks. Thanks for giving us genocide. Thanks for teaching us how not to provide. Thanks for showing us how to have chicks on the side. Thanks for pretending to be humanitarians. But in history, those acts, you're barely in. Thanks for giving us false religion. You trained us, but good. As well as homing pigeons. Thanks you for wiping out many cultures. Thanks for being unapologetic and being vultures. Thanks very much for being who you are. I've always noticed what you destroy and mar. Thanks for bringing us from Africa, but most of us were already here. bullshit you have been on, I've never feared. If you can read between the lines and the rhymes, you know who I'm speaking of. Thanks for not standing as one, because if we did, they couldn't make it to the weekend. And that's that piece right there.
All right, so G, everybody. So it looks like we got some people out there that are looking to share. I'd like to invite some of them that have not shared already. And Stephanie Jackson, are you there? Are you out there somewhere? Did she disappear from us? She's still shopping. All right, Alan. Alan, I know you're there, right? Oh, wait. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Alan.
Hi,
How you doing, guy?
I'm looking a bit different than I did.
Yeah, your hair is all,
Yeah,
your ears are heightened or your hair is lower, one or the other.
it's a disguise. Yeah,
Hey, you want to share something with us tonight?
yes, I would.
Okay.
I wrote this back in February of 2020. The name of it is All Life is a Near-Death Experience, a quote by Jim Harrison. Is this the end? Vision blurred, muscles cramped, mind clear, and slowly he was being electrocuted. Standing in water, holding the steam cleaner wand, thoughts, what to do? Can't do anything. Locked in place, muscles flexing 60 times a second. Fear and electrons racked his body. Is this the end? The sky was blue with white clouds, a beautiful day to fly. And then the plane turned around. Tighten all seatbelts, prepare for an emergency landing. There is a fire in the engine, and the pilot declared. The plane became very quiet. Very quiet. Everybody looking, everyone looking, their seat neighbor and thinking, is this really happening? Fire trucks and ambulances completely lined the runway as we started descending. Is this the end? The appendix was swollen, dark, angry looking, ready to burst, slowly leaking poison in the body. Emergency surgery by the general practitioner, assisted by his retired father. Assisting, terrible scars, body pain, days on morphine, near death. Is this the end? A car driving mountain roads, Highway 1, California. No traffic, switchback after switchback, not an easy drive. Unexpectedly, a Wonder Bread delivery truck in the wrong lane, careening around a curve, fast rate of speed, must get his delivery completed early. The car driver's instant thought, Wonder Bread builds bodies 8 ways, but does Wonder Bread truck kill in 8 ways? The car swung left towards a rock wall, Wonder Bread truck to the right toward a 500-foot drop, leaning like it would roll on the car any second. Is this the end? Well, I survived electrocution, the plane, a leaking appendix, and the damn Wonder Bread truck. Yes, life is a near-death experience. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. Thank you. All right, so I believe Roger and Lisa, if you have one short one, we'd love to have you share it one more time.
Okay, we have short ones.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay. I'll let you go if you're Ralph.
All right, hang on. We're coming. The budgies are coming.
Those birds
had
are
to-
distracting you. That's what it is.
Well, I had to get my Benjamin Franklin granny glasses on because I would
Hey,
wish my
hey, Ralph, let
handwriting
me
on
do
anybody.
mine first, and then you can do yours.
Okay,
Mine's
I'll
a
bow
short
to the
one.
Pete first then.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll
let the
do
wife
mine.
go first.
But
Okay.
of course.
Okay. The walker. She walks every day. She walks to nowhere. Purple jacket, white hair, no one to hold her hand as she walks the treadmill, hoping to turn back the speedometer of time and failing. Every time I leave my apartment building, or let's say 80% of the time she's there, doesn't she ever get a cold or decide to eat bonbons or nibble on a salad or deal with piles of paper? I imagine she's one of these people who does things by the clock. Walking, walking, walking by Metrodome, a music teacher demanding the steps. That's it.
Thank you, Lisa.
Well,
Here's mine. This is no fun, take one, and in brief, this is what happens when you've lived the rock and roll dream and it's all over. So I'm writing a couple of different rock and roll chapbooks, and this one is dedicated to Ron Ashton from the Stooges. So I've done a couple of them about other guys here a couple times before. So this and all the things I talk about in here are true. So ponder
Okay.
that as I go through this. No fun, take two. No fun? Yeah, right. This is how it winds down. June 71. Watch the Dum Dum Boys beat the dead horse into dust. Dropped by a record label. Left for dead by the bookers and promoters. Our manager, he's now in the natural food biz. Perfect for us, right? My brother James and Iggy down for the count. Smack in the middle of it, so to speak. No more Stooges, at least for now. Dave's long gone, like so many other cats shot down before their time. Zeke and his little brother Miles, for one, OD, just 10 days apart from one another. Too many more to rattle off in my brain. And after all this, I'm lucky if I have enough for a guitar strap or two, maybe a beer. Now what the hell do I do?
Thanks, Ralph.
Thanks, man.
All right, are you all ready for our featured artist tonight? Yeah. Kenny Fresh joined us at one of our poetry events, and yeah, he really sunk in there, and I asked if he would be willing to be a featured artist, and he definitely was on board with that. So we extremely appreciate the love shown towards us. I'm gonna read a little bit of his bio for you. Kenneth L Woods is a Hawaiian native, a literary enthusiast, published author, fun-loving father, and husband. As an Indiana University graduate with a bachelor's degree of science in biology and an associate degree in chemistry, his love for science and poetry actualized provides a distinctive performance art experience. His prose is a combination of humor, satire, intertwined with faith in humanity's potential, and most esteemed his creator. He has shared his spoken word poetry with intimate crowds to auditoriums of over 3,000 people. His artistry has spanned from the US to Greece and France through nonprofit sectors and corporate collaborations. Let's see. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm skipping over a little bit, and you can share more if you'd like to. Okay, Kenny? Let's see, like a decade of pencil to paper, reciting poetry, challenging thought patterns, and pointing people towards their purpose has developed not only Kenny Fresh performance art, but Refresher Point's conceptual design. Kenny Fresh utilizes the power of words to refresh perspectives about navigating our individual journeys and collective hope. So this brother's done a lot. We appreciate him and his gift to us, his gift of words, his gift of heart, inspiration, and hope. So everyone out there, stay with us, stay tuned. Let's give it up for Kenny Fresh.
Hey Pam, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Good. I'm glad to be here. I've really been looking forward to this. It's been a busy week. This past Wednesday, I was part of a virtual art show, and I wrote a piece for it, and I'll do that piece probably at the very end of the set. But yeah, and then after this Tuesday, I'll be doing a reading with the St. Louis Poetry Center. That'll be virtual as well. So
Okay.
I'll throw all my social media links on my website in the chat so people can follow and keep up. It's been a really busy and productive April and May, so I'm really excited about that. So.
Yeah, make sure if you got books or anything out there, make sure we throw it in the chat for anybody that's interested, and be sure to follow him too.
For sure. So this first piece I'm gonna do, typically I explain my pieces after I perform them because I don't want to like give anything away. So this
Okay.
first piece is from my debut chapbook of poetry called Equilibrium. I'll throw that in the link and everything for that in the chat. But the very first poem in this book is called Challenge Your Point, and I'll go ahead and read that. Darkness has never been a friend to those in need of the light of hope. The sun lies hidden behind a shroud. It's unnatural not to see the sun for too long. Night always turns to day, given enough time. So many leave this life an hour before dawn, causing our hearts to break before the day does. Those who have been at their lowest know you can't just turn off the depression. The cord to anxiety is tied to too many triggers to be undone at the snap of a finger. The days are long, on the road to recovery even longer. How terrible to tell those that had the courage to face this day to just be stronger. When the monsters under your bed become the ones dancing in your head. When the one you want to escape from is yourself feeling alone, teetering out of reach on the highest shelf. It's hard to be scared of death when every day is a living hell. There is a light of the world, please let him in. I pray you believe in he who rose from death again. He'll feel the void within, and I promise you will experience equilibrium.
Yeah.
Come through, King.
Thank you. So that's the first piece. Challenge Your Point. I dropped Equilibrium like last April 3rd, 2020. And I had a whole book tour planned. And then, of course, COVID happened. So,
Right.
Yeah. So that Challenge Your Point is actually based off of the Mariana Trench is like the deepest trench in the world. And at the very bottom of that is the place called Challenger, or I think it's Challenger Point. So the book takes you on a journey from the lowest point, which is Challenger Point, to the highest height, which is Mount Everest. And so the last poem of the book is called Everest. So it kind of taking you on a journey like that. And so the next piece I have, in addition to just writing book poetry and books and things like that, I also do custom poems for organizations. And this is for Kentucky Refugee Ministries. Last year they celebrated 30 years of helping refugees resettle in Kentucky.
Wow.
And they asked for artists to submit poetry and visual art and all kinds of things to celebrate that. And so this next piece celebrates that. And I'm really proud of it. So I'll get right into that. I just threw my website link in the chat. This one's called Art Makes Home, named after their event. Your name is your name. Gifted by your parents, it's your announcement to the world. I am here, and all your splendor and glory, the name you wear tells your story. Chords strike in harmony as your native tongue paints strokes upon a canvas most won't understand. The music you make comforts others and upsets a few, but what can they expect when heritage is your muse? You Are your ancestors' dreams given wings? You flew to another hemisphere, transplanted to another country with your roots still intact. Your motherland gave you nourishment for the journey. Inside you lies the ability to thrive in strange soil. As you travel this road freshly paved, never forget from whence the foundation was laid. See, home is where your heart settles into its regular rhythm. You knew your streets knew you, and you knew them. But here, in this new home, this unfamiliar place, your heartbeat pounds at an irregular pace. Over time, it will slow and beat steady. Life isn't easy. You don't expect it to be. There is still room in this country for the refugee. There is a bed for the rest you seek. Home is the place that lets you sleep, a space for comfort and healing. These four walls give you something to believe in. So believe them. You are home.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's Art Makes Home, named after the event. So I've been very busy this year, really pushing Equilibrium. After the 1 year anniversary, I'm like, I was gonna drop another chapter this summer, but I feel like I didn't give Equilibrium the push it deserves. So I'm holding off on the second one until I really push Equilibrium. But this next poem is one of my favorites. It's called DNA, and we'll get right into it.
All right.
Deoxyribonucleic acid, commonly referred to as DNA. Hereditary material passed down from parent to child, strands of genetic coding wired through nearly every cell of the body. While for most of the world, that's what DNA stands for, those three letters, DNA, have a whole different meaning because daddy needs to answer. Questions like, who are you? And why did you leave? And what kept you away from me? I know that opposites attract, causing you and mommy to react, but I also know that like poles repel. Is that why you stayed away? Am I so similar to you that the only option you had was to head in the opposite direction? I'm learning in school that for every action, there was an equal and opposite reaction. So daddy, you collided with mommy, causing me to be born and you to leave? Is that what happened? Daddy needs to answer. I've got so many inquiries, but you don't necessarily address them. You didn't need to appear your absence. The silence in my life is akin to the deafening roar of the ocean in my ears. And speaking of oceans, you can't begin to count. You can't begin to number the tears or the depths of the sea of tears that I have cried. You see, daddy needs to answer. I wonder why mommy won't let me see you. She treats it like a game, and I don't know if it's checkers or chess or you're even playing. I'm new to chess. But I want to know why mommy uses me as a pawn against you if the king and queen are on the same team. I feel like I'm being held hostage and can only lay eyes on you in my dreams. You see, daddy needs to answer. The cries of children all across the globe, cries that come deep from the soul. Every child needs their dad, and no matter how well the intention, no mother can fill both lanes. Children deserve to know both contributors to the blood in their veins. You see, parents are the amino acids used to build up that double helix of their children. And without both parents, that double helix begins to unravel. Their sense of significance and being wrapped up in knowing who they are and whose they are. There is the absence of a man in a child's life as the fathers are on striking. I don't know if they didn't think it through. Thought a family was too much to hold on to. Walking off the job before the benefits could kick in. If these eyes could truly speak for the children, they would probably say, father wanted, dad need, apply. That's that piece.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you. I wrote that piece back in like 2015, December of 2015. I got married in October. And from the poem, you would think that that's my story, but actually my dad was always around. I'm a Navy brat. I was born in Hawaii, like my bio says, and my dad would be gone for like 6 months at a time at the longest. But that poem came as a result of when I got married. I have a daughter, and I would see the looks of other children when we're out. Children that I knew didn't have their father around. And I think one day I was just sitting and I was like, man, one day these dads are going to have to answer. And then it just kind of hit me like DNA, like daddy needs to answer. I was like, ooh, so I went and wrote it. And that is one of my most impactful pieces.
Yeah.
Whenever I perform it at slams, I've had a grown man in his 30s tell me he had just met his dad for the first time. And he was one of the judges at the slam. And he was like, yo, that piece really touched me. And that's just something that happens all the time. People like, this piece really touched me. And I'm so happy that I've written it and that it continues to touch people. And I've made
I
it
hope he
available.
gave you a 10 on that then.
He did. I think he did give me a 10. I think that was kind of like, okay. Well, it really connected. So, but that poem is I hold it so close, but it's not in any book. But I made it available for the first time. I dropped the EP of spoken word, like acapella spoken word pieces on Bandcamp. And DNA is the final piece on that project. So that project's been out for a week. It's not on streaming platforms just yet, because I really want to just get people to go to the Bandcamp, and I'll throw that link in there too. Yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces because it just impacts so many people.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This next piece I'm gonna do is called "How Are You Really?" Get right into that. Yeah, how are you? Okay. How are you? No, how are you really? Most of the time we respond with fine, but that's because we understand that those asking the question really don't care and definitely don't have the time. This fast-paced society doesn't give us time to truly speak, so we check in with loved ones, though we hardly ever speak social media. Got to check in the concerts and restaurants, but hardly ever clinics and counselors' offices. The internet has made the world so much smaller, but we still haven't grown closer. We've just mastered the art of keeping it together, and we dare not lose composure. But what happens when pretense falls, depression hits, and your wrists look like do not open before Christmas and it's finished till midnight on December 25th? Or you're looking at pills and liquor, hoping they can bring the healing quicker. We worried about the pollution of the sea, but what about the polluted bloodstreams of loved ones we see hurting anonymously? I see you, the pain in your eyes, the quick hesitation as if weighing the options in your mind, your brain's abacus, calculating if those inquiring on your health are truly worthy of your trust. You are scared that if folks find out how broken you are, they may need the therapy you refuse to take. It's time out for cookie cutter answers and generic solutions. Don't you dare say, I'm fine. Things will get better with time. And don't you dare hide your stress when I'm blessed. Nah, you was blessed before I ever asked you the question. So again, I ask, how are you really? But before that question can be posed, be prepared. If the person on the receiving end of it takes you to task, letting you know about all the abuse they've had or thoughts of ending it all because there's no hope left, be prepared to offer them real suggestions. There's no harm in guessing or getting second opinions. Help them find what heals them. Let them know there's power in prayer and therapy. The two are not mutually exclusive. You see, Jesus had a doctor, technically a physician in his crew, so I'm guessing that God and science are cool. Let them know there's power in exercise, meditation, even adult coloring books. This is a crazy world we've inherited, where living real life looks ugly, but that's because it's all in one take. There's no time for filters, crop outs, or edits. These are all dark days, and we are praying we find the exit. I wrote this poem for those at the end of their rope, or who have had thoughts about being at the end of one. I believe that every breath we continue to take is a blessing. In a world that brags on grinding 24/7, there is no harm in resting. No harm in being more concerned with the inner sanctum rather than the outward exterior of the building. I understand that this life offers more questions than answers, like why was your innocence stolen and why does your family feel cursed by cancer? I have no prophetic answers. What I do have is a listening ear and an empathetic heart. I can pray for you to the Lord in Jesus' name if you into that sort of thing. But I have no spiritual salve, no mental medication. I will probably fail all of your expectations. I just want you to know that I care, and I want you to answer me truthfully whenever I ask, how are you really?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the funny thing about that poem is that poem was written back in like 2015, and it kind of just slept in my notebook till like 2017. I had never performed it. Then I had the opportunity. A friend was doing a like mental health event in Indianapolis, and I drove up and premiered it there, and it really went over well. And I know one person posted they wanted to hear that poem on repeat over and over again. So it's one of my go-to poems. I love to use it in slams. I love to just use it because I feel like it's a poem that speaks, because you know it's just the common answer.
Yeah.
How are you? I'm fine. Like no, you're not. Especially not now. Like during the pandemic, you're anything but fine. Maybe you're coming out of something, but I just want us to really sit with that question. How are you? And
Really?
how are you really? That's really that poem. So it's definitely a fun piece to go to. And yeah, this next piece is called Meticulous. We'll get right into it. Now, also, if anybody has any questions or anything, I really want to interact with you guys, so you can throw some questions in the chat, and I will definitely answer them in between pieces. I definitely, if anybody has any questions or thoughts, comments, or anything like that, I would love to interact with those.
Okay.
So here we go. Here goes Meticulous. Never underestimate the power of your words. You see, we live in the age of word count. Every syllable is tallied and held in record, so you best make your words count, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. And I see some of you are still doubtful. Just think about all the lives lost as a result of cyberbullying. With a click of a mouse and some typewriter, souls are crushed and hope is better. There's too much going on in this world, so I can't keep wasting words. So many of us believe we were made in the image of God, but we fail to realize that just as his words give life, ours had the same effect. No, we may not be able to bring planets into existence with our words, but our words shape the world around us. So you see, your words create your world. What you breathe into existence will be the framework for the portrait that your life will be painted in. This is why complaints are nothing more than ink blots on the freshly printed page. They take the focus off the words, and in some cases, hide a part of the story. This is why every word that I spit is handpicked. It was carefully considered and consciously critiqued, because while I'm whispering sweet nothings in y'all's ear, there was someone outside literally dying to hear words like, hello, what's your name? You matter. Or the most dangerous word in the world, love. So as you can see, I'm going to tell with my words as a customer, calculating how much tip to leave. Should I give 15 or 20%? How much to speak if I am able? Because just like them, I can't afford to leave too much land on the table. There's too much vernacular manslaughter, reckless and with verbs, too many poor souls serving life from the damage of words served. And would that we all thought twice and aim to aspire adjectives of death into a liturgical literacy of life. Because I've seen firsthand the strife that comes from wanton run-on sentences not structured in tact and decency. And recently, it seems like we've forgotten how to communicate. But I'm not perfect, so I won't cast a stone. Rather, I will build. Use my tongue to paint beautiful pictures in light of the sun, in light of who I like to become. But it all starts with me, and in time translates to we. And this is not to preach to you, rather, this is to reach to you. So let every said syllable sound of sincere structure, not settling for summary stagnant sentences of servitude. So in short, words matter. Be meticulous. Thank you. So Meticulous, I wrote that back in 2013. I don't know how many remember a show that used to be on the channel TV1. I think it was Verses and Flow. At one point, I really wanted to get on Verses and Flow. So I wrote Meticulous, and one of the rules was you couldn't use any like pop culture references, no kind of references like that. You just had to really come up with original content. And so I think I sat up late at night and I wrote Meticulous. I was super proud of it. I think I recorded me performing it. I think I typed up the lyrics, sent it in. Never got a call back. It's fine. No, I think I'm happy for that because it gave me one of my favorite pieces. This is like, it's almost like a soul piece. I've done it so much that I can do it without even really thinking of it. It's like a part of me at this point. And it's also one of the books that is in one of the poems that's in my chapbook, Equilibrium. So I think Challenger Point and Meticulous are both in, and I think How Are You Really might be in as well. Just some of my best poetry, kind of talking about the ups and downs of life. And, so much has happened since the pandemic started. I know a lot of people, it was like the worst year in 2020. But for me, it really wasn't. I was busier than ever, even though I had made a commitment to only perform virtually. I continue to remain busy, and now I got to update my biography because I was able to do a collaboration project with National Geographic. Me and my wife and one of our poet homies, Lance Newman. So that's, if you go to my Instagram, I've got my link in bio. You can check that out. And I did all that virtually. Like, I did not leave my house. I interviewed the people on Zoom. I talked to people. I chopped the videos myself. And it was just a really good experience in 2020. And then 2021 kind of keeps the momentum going. I've been busier than I've ever been. And so to me, that kind of speaks to just, making the best out of whatever you have. Like I could be sad about I'm not going to open mics in person. I'm not going to these events. But I'm like, man, there's just as much opportunity virtually. Because, people ain't got nowhere to go. And now that things are opening up again, that's still pretty cool. So I got a couple more poems. And this next one is a new favorite. I keep saying favorite. Somebody asked me in an interview, what is your favorite poem? And I've never been asked that before, but they all are special to me for different reasons. A lot of it has to do with people's responses to it. So after this poem, I'll talk about the response that's come from this one. It's called Big Boy Blues, and I wrote it December 12th, 2018. And I wrote this one in 2 hours, which never happens. I take days, weeks, sometimes months to write a poem, but this one kind of came flowing out, so I hope you like it. In case you haven't noticed, I'm kind of a big guy. Use whatever adjective you want, be it husky, big bone. Can men be thick? I already know that I'm fat. You don't have to remind me of that. Because my biggest fear is to fit whatever fat person trope a stranger has designed for me. I'm afraid to take up too much space in store aisles, forcing my lips to smile all the while apologizing for just existing. Supposed to be in a time where body shaming is a no-no, but I don't know how not to be ashamed of a body that follows me everywhere I go. Potlucks and dinners got me feeling like a villain in the horror movies. I can only move when the audience ain't got their eyes on me. And no matter how much my stomach beckons, I always wait till at least 2 or 3 people in the line before I go back and get seconds. But it ain't all bad. I'd have to reason. Because around September, when the hoodies start popping out, it's big man season. Now I'm in style. Shorties that used to keep it walking now stop and smile. I guess Slim Jim couldn't keep you warm when needed, huh? Girl, go and take a gander at all this fluff. I know you see it. I gotta say for certain, it's kind of unnerving that during a certain period of time, my big belly and beard make me more attractive as a person. Sisters smile at me and say I look like Rick Ross with it. And I know that's supposed to be a compliment, but it hardly isn't ever since Rose penned lyrics about women's drinks and adding Molly to it. Being big ain't bad now, but it wasn't always this way. Younger me thought that love would be a forever wait because of my weight. But now I know that wasn't true, at least not to my face. Maybe I came on too strong. I got enamored way too quickly. Perhaps it was the things within me and much less my physique. If I could tell my younger self some things, here's what I would say to me. Self, 23 will be your Jordan year. After being called cute for a lifetime, that's when you'll be dubbed fine for the first time. And within that same year, you receive your first real kiss. And even when you feel passed over like the Jewish meal, when you look in the mirror, that's what's true and real.
Right.
College is where it'll all make sense. It's where you'll meet chubby chasers for the first time and wonder just where the hell they've been your entire life. Women that love big men all year round, sign me up. I would let younger me know that his whole paradigm began to shift with one compliment. He made a joke about his size to a girl that he liked, and she looked him in the eyes and said, I think you look exactly what a man should look like. This mother of 2 complained that the father of her children was as thin as a twig and probably couldn't protect her. Adding the fact that younger me let her borrow our hoodie, and though it was several sizes too large and the sleeves flowed past the arm, she didn't mind at all and was quite warm. And he never asked her out, couldn't find the words to say, but her compliment still stays with him to this day. Now I'm confident in how I look. If my rotundness offends you, then don't look, but don't be surprised if your girl does. I'm not saying that every girl wants me. All I know is back in August, you ain't want me. Now it's December and y'all all up on me. To the doubters, don't pass up on us bigger folks because there's more of us to love. We got all of them attributes that Hollywood deems as attractive. We just got bellies to go with it. And if you don't like it, well, we'll treat you like our love handles and just roll with it. Yeah, man. This is one of my new favorite pieces I wrote in 2018. And that one came because I was just sitting, and you know, sometimes you just sit and think about life. And I was like, man, it hit me one day that, you know, I've had all these thoughts about being big. And the reality is the only people that made fun of me for being fat was like guys. Like I thought about like, this ain't even for them anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
I ain't never had a girl tell me I was too big. When I thought about that, I'm like, man, I really let these dudes in 6th grade make fun of me for like the man boobs and all that. I ain't never had no girl like complain and say like, nah. They might have been, there was other things like I was a super nerdy like anime guy. I didn't do no Naruto running through the halls, but it was definitely, I was wearing the superhero shirts. I had the comics in the backpack, super awkward. That's why the lines about maybe it was much less the physique and more like the way I came on. And somebody liked me, I was like, oh, they love me. Like, no, they were just being nice. Like I've definitely been that guy who mistook, somebody gave me an extra 10-piece nugget at McDonald's. I'm like, oh, she feeling you, boy. No, it was an extra, and she didn't want to throw it away. It wasn't love. So just writing about that, maybe it just kind of flowed out of me. I'm like, man, like I've been tripping, and like it said in the poem, I never met women who like big men all year long. Like I used to get a lot of hugs when it was December, before I met my wife and got married. But yeah, it was a lot of okay, summer there after the skinny muscular dudes. But I love that poem and some of the reactions when I did that at open mic. I had ladies come up and they were like, yo, one lady said the very first man I fell in love with was a big guy. And I had big dudes dapping me up like, hey bro, you representing us.
Right.
Making us look fly out here. So I'm like, hey man, that's what's up. Oh, gotta shout out Rihanna Nicole's in the comments. She's a dope poet, founder of Lipstick Wars, which is a all-female poetry slam here in Louisville, Kentucky. We've been friends, comrades, combatants going up against each other at slams for years. So I really appreciate her sliding through.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I got one more poem for the set, and this is the poem called Just Imagine. I spent all of like a week ago like cramming it. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna just do it one time. So this poem was written for Kentuckians of the Commonwealth. They had this Just Imagine life transition thing, and they had 3 prompts for the art submissions. And my piece touches on the 3rd prompt, which asks, what would our relationship with the environment look like if it wasn't for the scarcity that's caused as a result of white supremacy? And so being a Black artist performing primarily in Louisville, which kind of, is a billion-dollar art industry, but you wouldn't know that from how they pay the artists or how they use in this little gatekeeping. They only want certain people in. So this poem was another one that was written in like hours because I definitely had some experience. So it's called Just Imagine. Just imagine not having to wage war on poverty because we paid our workers properly. A living wage with more life in our days. A world where Blacks didn't have to beg for scraps. Positioned below a table we were never invited to. Praying for food to fall from plates not designed for us to eat from. No more mouths open wide, begging for opportunities to be placed inside, but instead force-fed, empty promises to fill up on not nows and just waits. It would be normal not to see white bread as the optimal, with the crust cut off, so as to save that bleached flour from contact with anything the shade of brown. Imagine a world with wheat, pumpernickel, and rye in America, where no choice but to swallow this dark bread with grains as coarse as the natural hair many ask to touch.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, my camera died. I got another. Back up 1 second. Hopefully, give it a second. Hopefully. All right, here we go. We're back. Yeah. All right. With grains as coarse as the natural hair many ask to touch. The grains as coarse as natural hair many ask to touch. An example of how nature's best isn't white bread. No longer will we have to wonder how much of ourselves we could be, leave our white voice dead in the streets. The freedom to use words like ain't, finna, and lit during meetings. Stringing together words and phrases only we know. Chad would ask where the money reside, and we would say nothing, or hint with coy replies. The Urban Dictionary may become required reading. Imagine the arrogance to look our counterparts in the eyes and say, we ain't come here, but we sure ain't leaving. No more insults like Uncle Tom or Coon because there's nobody to sell out to. As we wipe away the blemishes of supremacy, how would it feel to be finally free? The long-awaited fulfillment to an ancient prophecy. No longer inhale, we can breathe out now. Don't mind me, I'm just dreaming out loud.
Dang. Yeah. I can't wait to watch this again.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, the Civil Rights Heritage Center, they do, they'll have this up on the web. So if that's okay with you,
It's perfectly fine.
you'll be able to view it. We'll be able to view it again. And thank you so much. Yeah, just thank you everybody out there. Yeah, home snap. For being here, for preparing for this. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate your heart behind the support for this that we try to do every month, and just creating a space for creativity and words to breathe life. So yeah, you're doing big things, man. It's awesome. I'm telling you, I've been telling people you're missing it. But hopefully we'll stay in contact, and you send people our way. We might, we'll send people your way, and not might, but we will send people your way. I think you put some information in the chat for those that want to follow you. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. I'll be in touch with you after this, but again, thank you for being with us. Thank you all out there that are watching for being with us tonight. Thank you to my newcomers, Donna. Thank you to Brooke, and to Roger and OG that were here with us. We'll be back here in June, and if you have not logged on or liked not logged on, but actually liked our Facebook page, we encourage you to. That's where we give a lot of information, especially when it comes time to maybe us coming back together in person. It's always good to see faces beyond the mask. I'm sure we're all tired of hiding behind it, but we are continuing to be safe, and so that we can continue to see one another. So again, thank you for being here. My name is Pam Blair. Feel free to do a shout out to me if you like what you hear, or if you got any suggestions or want to make any comments. And we will see you again here at the Poetry Den, Civil Rights Heritage Center. You all have a great month, great week. Until then, yeah.